Jackie, hello, welcome.
Hi,
Uh,
Bobby.
Hi. The Fathoms Below.
The Fathoms Below.
It's out in the future when this
Yeah,
drops. It
yes, it
is
is.
a runaway success. We're speaking into existence. It's a runaway success. A smash hit, bestseller, immediate. It will happen. I've already done it once. I've done this once already. I've made it happen.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's
I like the sound of that.
yeah, exactly. Before I jump into questions for you, can you give our listeners a elevator pitch for the book?
So, what if we evolved from mer people? And what if science found a way for us to take a DNA test to find out just how far back we go? And what if we could turn back? So, you know those like ancient ancestry tests that we would take, like of heritage, to find out what percentage you are of, what percentage Italian you are, what percentage French, Greek, that kind of thing. Well, what if you could take a DNA test that tells you of what percentage of Mer you are. And so that's what the concept of this book is. It's kind of like a new evolution. I like to call it prehistoric and futuristic for those reasons. So it takes place in a future where advancements in science and medicine make this possible. So I've always wanted to do something with mer people, but I feel like a lot of the mermaid stories that we all know and love are all pretty much the same. I feel like they all fall more into the fantasy category. And I wanted to, of course, still go into the fantasy category, but I feel like I wanted to also move more towards a science fiction point of view of that to make it a little bit more realistic. So that's what I've done here.
It's I have a question for you about
Hmm.
genre hopping, but we're gonna put a pin in it because it is that's really only the beginning of the story. Which we will avoid spoilers. People should go read the book. Um, but it's really expansive world building. It's a lot. It's a lot. You get immediately you're like, oh yeah, like that. You're like, oh yeah, mer people have exist, and we know about it. And also, you can turn into them. And also, we're building infrastructure and cities for all these people who are choosing to turn into mer people, and on and on. And there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's very well thought out. And my first question is really because I've never really written anything to this level of world building, and I generally
Hmm.
avoid it because it intimidates me. Uh, so when you are building out the world of, when you mentioned taking in more of a science fiction, a little bit more realistic direction, when you're building out this world, you're building out mer people towns and cities and technology and all this stuff, how do you decide what you show a reader, what you don't, what you know when a reader doesn't know? Where do you draw those lines?
Okay, so like with world building, especially underwater world building, has been very, very challenging because not only do you need to make this exist in the world, make it make sense, you need to make this exist underwater. But I feel like there's a huge benefit that comes with having a setting set in the future because the future is unknown, the future is untouched, the future is limitless because anything is possible. So, in a way, you're answering the what if, but you're doing so in your own terms. You're saying, in a possible distant future, this could happen with advancements that we do not currently have. So that's something that you can get away with. That's what makes the underwater world building civilization exist here. It's because I answered that what if and I did it in my own terms, just simply with the explanation that science did it. Simply, it's possible. You could be on a tablet, a device, electronic devices underwater. It works. You could eat some types of processed food underwater. It works. It just does, just go with it. But when you are describing these things underwater, certain scenes and the way the characters are using things and interacting with different things that you normally would, like on land with a cell phone, you do so underwater. And I say things like, make sure it has that protective covering over it. Look at this, look how different it is. And there's a scene where the main character is in her living room and she has magazines, but she has weights. They have weights for them to be weighed down because remember, there's no gravity.
Yeah, it's you're underwater, so everything is
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
constantly.
that's been a lot of fun to play with, honestly. It's like you have to keep remembering and you have to put in things like, she exhaled and the bubbles came out of her gills type thing, as opposed to, someone took a deep breath. It's like, well, how does this work underwater? Someone rushes somewhere and they're swimming, they're not running.
Underwater pizza.
Underwater pizza. It's spongy. Who knew? Delicious. I'd eat it.
I I'm a pretty adventurous eater. I'm not sure if I'm down for underwater pizza. I think I'm ready. I think that's the one. I'm like, I can see a lot of stuff. I'm like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. But when I'm like underwater pizza, I'm like, I don't think I'm ready for that. I love above ground pizza. I love land pizza. I'm not sure if I want underwater pizza. But is I think there's also like this. Is it? Did you have all that stuff in mind as you were working through, or is it like, well, as you encounter it, as a character encounters a situation, you're like, oh, well, how does that work
Yeah.
underwater?
Yeah, little by little. Like I
Okay.
said, just like taking a scene and just writing it like normal, but then remember, we're underwater now. So it's like you're swimming when you're going places. You got to remember, you got to consider floating, of
Right.
course, rising up, swimming down and whatnot.
It's I don't know. It I think it works really well. It's just I was always like, "Oh, you are," as a reader, I was always like, "Wait, they're underwater. They can't it's not the same." And like I don't know, it's like it at least I like the architecture, the attention to the architecture. Like, oh well, you don't have to worry about people falling. They will float. They will not sink. They will not fall and die from a 3-story building or whatever. Um and I think there's that one additional I don't know. This is I guess up in the air. There's not much attention paid to after Dallas and her family leaves the surface. There's really not much attention paid to what's going on in their old life, I guess.
Hmm.
Is that maybe I don't know. I always was like, well, you could think of socio-political things where like, oh, we're trying to control each other, or who has the who has rule of law down on the ocean floor versus people who are above us, and the who has control of all that stuff. Was that in your mind at all, or you're just like, well, no, I don't care. I left it behind for a reason. We're going to tell the story of the people underwater.
Yeah, yeah, more or less. It's the
Okay.
new beginning. The new setting is underwater, but I still want them to have the ties to the land. I talk about dual citizenship a lot because,
Mhm.
sometimes that's the case with people that go to different countries. For instance, like, oh, well, I still have ties there, so they're still going to have ties on land, and I'll probably play with that a little bit more in the future. But the point is, it's there, it's behind you in case you need it. So there's always a way to like go back. So
Right.
you got to show the dynamics of what's going on in land and what's going on in the sea and how they're kind of connected.
I was gonna say also this book would be 3 times as long if you had to like navigate all the world of everything. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna. It turns into like the Star Wars prequels where I'm like, I
Oh,
don't
oh
care.
yeah. And I made this into a series for a reason. There's a lot of material to work with here. And initially I wasn't sure what I wanted to happen in the first book. I had too much happening in the first book. So it's just like, all right, well I gotta pace this properly. I gotta have some sort of introduction to what is down there and the dangers that are down there. And then as we go along, what else is down there? I mean, this might be kind of like, phase one. We're talking here. This is probably
Well,
just the beginning to read.
I was gonna say I'll ask you the. I have a question on just on my note card is simply series or sequels question
Yeah,
mark, and I'm like it feels
series.
like obviously like there's a I wouldn't say cliffhanger because I feel like this wraps up all the drama, the conflict of what's down there, the dangerous something is hunt. That's not a spoiler. There is some
Yeah,
ominous threat in the wild in the deep water down there,
yeah.
and that's
There's
the
a thing.
yeah. There's something dangerous down there. We don't know what it is.
Hmm.
And that's largely like I'm not gonna say spoil what actually happens, but you get a resolution.
Hmm.
Um, so is there like do you have a set oh, this is gonna be a trilogy. Oh, this could go forever because I love writing this setting. I love writing these characters.
I do love writing the setting. As far as like the main storyline goes, I know what it is, and I do have it kind of outlined out into a couple books. But there could potentially be another spin-off plot after that has been resolved. So I want to leave that open, but I want to make sure I get the main plot points down first. But yeah, I absolutely love this world. I feel like it's limitless, you know? I feel like I could take this in so many different directions, and it's just a matter of like what ideas are going to spawn next from it that I can't wait to play with.
I mean, it is the ocean. It's a very big thing.
Mhm.
Yeah. And there's you can go very deep
No
in
pun
the ocean.
intended.
Yeah, no pun intended. Actually, very pretty much. It was
Very pun intended. Yeah.
pretty pun intended. Yeah.
Pretty
Um,
punny.
pretty punny. Um, I'm looking at my note card. Genre. So you mentioned, and I mean, you've written horror and dark fantasy stuff
Mhm.
before, and you've kind of even touched on this. I think a conversation with me or on social media or both about going in, and you've mentioned it going into science fiction in this, and which is I don't know. This is like a big blend of stuff. It
Mhm.
is not just science fiction. There is horror in it. There is fantasy in it. There is lots of different little like I don't know. I would even say dark fantasy in this
Mhm.
at times. And like you said, it does feel limitless because of the society you've kind of built up on the ocean floor. Is there in your mind? Is there a set like, oh, I don't want it to be too much genre, or I don't care. I love blending different genre. I love the different subgenres of stuff, and it's all big playground, and I'm going to bring in everything I want.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best part about genre blending is that you could kind of I would say jump around, but you're really just mixing everything together. So in the case of science fiction and fantasy, it's a lot of fun to play with because with science fiction, you need to back things up with facts and real things. And with fantasy, you could pretty much make it whatever you want, but you need to make it believable. So there needs to be that level of authenticity there, and that's where the science fiction comes in. So with the ocean, I did research on what lives there. You know, what are the oceans like? What creatures live there, the ecosystems and whatnot. And then with fantasy, it's like, well, what else could potentially exist in this universe? So no spoiler intended, but the main creature, the main threat to the society in Fathoms Below is real. It's something that should have gone extinct, but it didn't. So that's a real thing, and there are also real sea creatures in there that the main characters encounters, you know, especially Dallas when she's out in the oceans. And then later, maybe I will play with some other things that could potentially be down there. Going back to the answer to the question of what if.
Right. I mean, it's always. I think there's a. I don't know. I feel like there is sometimes, at least in my part, the idea of like people. There are certain types of readers only like certain types of genres. You know,
Mhm.
there's science fiction readers, they only read sci-fi. There's
Yeah.
fantasy readers, they only read fantasy, etc. Horror readers only read horror, etc., etc. But I am always been a person who reads everything. I like all kinds of stuff, and I don't mind it, especially when it becomes a nice little stew. When you mix all this, I'll mix them all together. But I feel like there is, I don't know, sometimes there is, at least I get in my own head about like, well, I can't, should I include this kind of stuff in this story? Is a horror reader going to want it? Is a fantasy reader going to want it? Stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, I appreciate that you're just like, I don't care. I'm going to write what I want. Um, what was that? What was the next question? There's a lot of stuff about identity in this,
Mhm.
about obviously the transformation and people you as you turn into a mer person you obviously you look different. Very
Hmm.
different, definitely different than you have a tail and scales and gills and stuff like that, and there is a you do a really good job of describing the change and how they've from human to mer person. I think that's really interesting. um was that Was there like intention when you were like, "Oh, well, this part of a human appearance is going to translate to a mer person appearance," or was that like I don't know. It's a weird question I had in my mind. It's like, was that conscious on your part? You're like, well, I want this to translate to this. I want this
Yeah, in
color
a
hair
way.
to translate into this color scale or whatever like that.
Yeah, in a way. Like I said, I wanted it to be as realistic as possible because most depictions of mermaids are literally just, human on top and then tail below. Well, you got to
Right.
think realistically about how they would be and how they would be made up. What is their makeup, Take Ariel from The Little Mermaid, which, yes, of course, huge part of my childhood. Love my Ariel, love my Little Mermaid. But looking at it, it's like, okay, where are her gills? Where's her dorsal fin?
Yeah.
How is she swimming? And mer people, they would have fins. They would have pectoral fins on their arms. They would have webbing in their fingers.
Yeah.
For swimming purposes. It's like how do you swim? You needed to be thinking about it. Logistically about how it would be possible, how they would work, and how they would swim.
I
How do
I
you breathe, Ariel, without gills?
magic is I think actually the answer for Little Mermaid. I think Disney's just like it's magic. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. We don't
Well,
want to
I did, Disney.
I I mean I do. I like it. I like the that attention to detail. Um but I mean there's also like I feel like I mean it's also like in a chance to start over in start give people a new identity when they change
Mhm.
from their human form to their merperson form.
Oh, right. And that's a trope that, people recognize and they always like, books about starting over, books about a new beginning. It's like you're literally getting a new life, you're literally getting a new identity. And for a lot of people, starting over, is very admirable, and it's something that people look forward to, is something, people think about a lot. But here in this case, it's about, it's normal in this time period, in this setting. It's like, here is an option. We're going back to the ocean. We're going to civilize it. We're evolving in a new way, You wanna be a part of this? Come on down. And, it's like literally a new beginning. But it's not in a way because it's something that has been ongoing. But here we're just following someone becoming a mermaid for the first time and adapting to her new world and new identity, just complete start over, new
Right.
life.
Right.
But
And
it's been going on.
right. And I mean she's not the only one that there's a certain character I think I would say is a little bit of a spoiler
Yeah.
to provide details, so I won't.
I
But
know, I know. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's also not. I think it's you mentioned people liking that trope, but I think like I always appreciate it when the change, the the starting over is kind of it's a I don't know false is more that it's not really about starting over. It's about actually finding your true self. It's like about finding the what you really are, and
Mhm.
what you were before was not you, and using this as an opportunity. It's I don't know. You're right. It is like it's very cathartic. And I just want to say I really like that bit in the book, which is a spoiler, which I won't say anything, but people should go read the book and find out what I'm talking about. My vague my vague clues that are a spoiler.
I love
Um,
that. Thank you. I know what you
uh,
mean.
yeah, I know you wrote the book, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Um, I have to ask,
Sure.
what's the costume plans for the Fathoms Below? I have to ask.
Oh,
If
Robbie, you know me so well, my
well,
man.
I mean, it's I want to the people. There's probably people listening who don't know you very well. Um, Jackie does costumes for her books, and they're not. They are big, crazy things. Even when I see you walk up to me at conventions sometimes in these giant costumes, and I hear your voice come out, I'm like, oh my god, you're. It's just because I know how much work it is. It's an incredible amount of work on top of your writing. So, what's
Mhm.
the plan for the Thousands Below? Can you give us? I don't know if you want to
Yeah, yeah,
reveal it or
sure.
not.
So, like,
Okay.
I'm kind of doing, like, transitions myself with costuming because I did kind of like a light thing where I did, like, Dallas in mid-transformation. I had scales and I had gills prosthetics, I had ears, and I had scale makeup on my arms and legs, and I actually wore a T-shirt that has a symbol from the book that's important. It's a stick figure. And so in the book, a stick figure looks like either a human or a mer person. It could be interchangeable, so that's a huge part of their symbolism. and their culture there. So I did like a light dress first, and then leading up to it, yes, I do have plans to make make Dallas and make her tail and make her full mer form, and then eventually I'll build on that and make her armor that she wears. And then maybe down the line a couple sea creatures.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
crazy. I mean,
it
I'm
is.
excited to see it. It is always very impressive to see in person. You're like, "Oh, that's crazy." Um, I would never I don't think I've ever I don't think I'm capable. I'm not I you are like skilled and have like all all this stuff about like making costumes and I'm like I have no idea. I wouldn't even know where to start.
Mhm.
But I feel like it is a I don't know, it's a novel thing that not many authors do about
Mhm.
their characters, and I feel like that is people who should follow you and look at those go find out all like go dig and look for all your different characters because in
It
your
is my
costumes.
absolute favorite thing about my career that I was able to take 2 things that I love and just merge them together. So I it's advertising for me, and it's a really fun and interactive way of advertising because people are first introduced to my stories by being introduced to the characters. And oftentimes I'll actually be in character. I mean, depending on what it is, of course. As a creature, you just kinda stalk around and act like a monster, or if I'm portraying a character, I'll take on their mannerisms and act like them. I had a lot of fun with the vampire characters a couple years ago, you might remember that.
I've I know that you have scared me a couple times because I didn't know it was you. I
Yeah,
mean, we see each other at conventions, and then I'm like, you're
yeah.
just wandering around in costume, and I like it could be anybody, and then you're like, "Hi,
It's
Robbie." I'm like,
really
"Oh, oh, hi, hello, oh, hi, Jackie, how are you? You look crazy." Crazy in a good way.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, I don't know.
Mm.
I don't want to spoil the Fathoms Below because it is very expansive, and I don't want to give too much away. But um, I did like it a lot. It is. I would say that I think you would say like it is launching um Crystal Lake's YA line, right? The Crystal
Mhm.
Cove. This is the
Yeah.
first one from Crystal Cove Press, which is a big deal. We had you had said that. I think you're like, this is a big deal. I'm like, it is a big deal. You're right. It is a big deal. So everyone should go check out Fathoms Below because we are going to move on to our second segment.
Whee!
Yeah, we're not going it. We're going to be right here, but we will figuratively move on. And this is for broader bookish questions,
Yeah.
and bookish and writing questions. My first question is from my last guest, and I will ask you for a question for my next guest at the end of the segment.
Oh, okay.
And the question can be anything. I mean, it could be writing related. Obviously, is a there. It's going to be an author, but you could also
Okay.
just ask about anything if you want to. So let that float around in the back of your head.
Okay.
And this question is from Nat Cassidy, who asks, because we were talking about this in our discussion. So, what is a piece of media you didn't like, but think everybody should try to watch or consume in some way?
A piece of media I don't like?
Something you don't like necessarily, but
Okay.
you think people should try because you think it's interesting or it's bad in a weird way or it's bad in a way that should challenge you or I don't know. You take it as you answer as you may.
So, like, a guilty pleasure TV
It
show or something like
it
that?
could be that or something that's really like I don't know something like my answer would be House of Leaves, the book House of Leaves, which is
Okay,
very
that's on my to-do list of things
well
to, like,
House of
read.
Leaves is I
Yes,
don't I it, here this is might be a hot take for anyone who listens to this podcast.
I wanna read that.
I don't like House of Leaves very much because it's just
Okay.
too hard to read. It's a very important book, but it is full of footnotes and it's constructed weirdly and it actively fights you the entire time.
Yeah, that's why I wanna read it.
Yeah,
My
exactly.
friend
So
actually, so my friend and I kind of made a pact one day. We were at Barnes& and Noble, and we picked it up, and we're leafing through it, and, we're both just cringe laughing at everything, and I'm like, "We need to pick this up, and we need to read it and pass it back and forth between each other," and we're laughing about it. It's on my list, so it's really funny you bring that up.
it's I mean that just an example for my answer to give you an idea, but something like that where I'd be like, well, I don't even necessarily think I don't I think that's kind of me and Nat's discussion was more about how liking something does not necessarily mean much in the broad scope of things. It could still be an
Mhm.
important piece of art or do something interesting that you just don't like. It's not to your taste. So
Mhm.
something like that. Is there anything that comes to mind?
That I wouldn't do? I mean,
No, well,
or that I don't
you would
like?
recommend but don't like.
Recommend but don't like? I mean,
Yeah.
probably not. I mean, I could
Okay.
recommend something I do like, but this is probably something that other people wouldn't like.
What is that?
Video games.
Okay, which video
Play
game?
play video games. If you're a writer and
Oh,
you've
it's all
never
video games.
played
Okay.
if you're a writer and you've never played, like, an open world RPG fantasy, play it. Play video games because it's about world building and it's about characters going on quests and adventures. So, I'll tell you this right now, I'm a huge Legend of Zelda fan. I eat it, breathe it, live it, sleep it. I still haven't beaten Tears of the Kingdom yet, but don't take my nerd card away from me just yet. See, I have the
It's a very long game.
Triforce tattoo, so that tells you.
Tears is a very long game.
Yeah,
It,
it
yeah.
is. I'm really lazy with the shrines and everything. But no, like, some people are like, "Oh, I don't like video games, they're a waste of time." Well, no, they're not. It's world building.
I mean, it's also
And they
very I would say that it's good to relax a little bit. You're
It
allowed
is.
to not work sometimes, which is
And
the
you're in the
thing.
mindset of the character too. So you were the one going on all these adventures. So just picture that in your head, and it's literally a scene.
Yeah, it's another source of inspiration. I mean, I
Mhm,
play them all the time. Sometimes for inspiration, also just to relax. It's nice to
mhm,
it's okay to not always be working.
right.
That's a good thing to do, which I think a lot of authors forget because we're all workaholics.
Yeah.
We have to be to get books written. Honestly, I think a lot of
Yeah.
the time. Um, my next question is a question I ask everybody, and that question is: who's an author more people should be reading?
Her name is Ruth Ware, Ware. She's an Irish mystery author, thriller mystery author. And she sticks with me because she's the first mystery books I've ever read. She actually surprised me. I couldn't figure out her endings. So I
Okay.
feel like I've read a lot of mystery books where I predicted the ending or I predicted some part of it, but with her, I she kept me guessing, she kept me surprised. Any outcome was always me being shocked. So, good job, Miss Ware. Keep it up. I have no way I like books that are unpredictable. I like
Okay.
books that are unpredictable and I don't know what's happening there. But yes, her voice stands out to me. I really like her.
Okay. Awesome. I'll put links to her in the show notes. I feel like I've heard her name somewhere. I'm sure I've seen. I feel like I've seen a Ruth Ware book
Um,
on
Woman
my.
in Heaven 10,
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
The Turn of the Key,
I just
one by
have.
one by
I
one.
There's just so many books. Why
Yeah.
there's so many. I can't keep track. I'm like, oh, the people ask me, have you read this? I'm like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
you keep
Probably.
writing more.
I mean, it's that is the fight of like, hey, I'm important. Please read my book. I know there's
Right?
10 million of them. Please, mine's the best one. Please. Um, hmm, mm, um. Okay, okay. Where do you write, and why do you write there?
My room.
Okay.
Boring enough. It's, quiet and secluded, most of the time. Sometimes, though, it's cool to go to, like, a coffee shop and just have a different change of atmosphere. Sometimes it could help with motivation and inspiration a little bit. But, yeah, at home, I have a messy desk with, Post-it notes and stuff I scribble down, and then I have to, "Where's that one Post-it note?" Or I'll find one from a long time ago and go, "Oh, I forgot I wrote that down. Look at
I'm.
that." You
I.
know?
Yeah.
It's, a lovely organized chaos that I think that we all know and appreciate and that we all have.
I
But yeah,
am.
no, like, sometimes change of atmosphere will help. It'll motivate you to write more if you're out in, public, especially if you're in a restaurant where or a food place where they come and they bring you your food. Like, this coffee shop I go to will, bring you your food. They bring you your nice gigantic mug, your nice big latte and, sandwich, and then you're just like, "All right, well, I feel different, I feel, like, at ease, it's relaxing."
Right.
Mhm,
I am staring at stacks of 3x5 cards, just with scrawled stuff on them.
yeah,
So immediately I'm like, oh yeah, I literally was just reaching for one to write down uh, Ruth Ware, and then I'm juggling another one that has the questions for this interview on it. Um, I think this is a connected question. What is in your writing space on that desk or adjacent to it? What is a sacred and or cursed item that is necessary for you to write?
Sacred or cursed item? Okay.
Either
I don't
one or
know.
both. Either it could be sacred, it could be cursed, or it could be both of those things.
I mean, I feel like I lose pens a lot. I have 50 of them, and sometimes I don't know where they are because, like, you'll write something down, and then you'll put the pen on your desk, and then the pen will get moved with, food and notebooks and, cups of coffee and your phone and a charger, a sweatshirt, and then you're like, well, where did that stupid pen go? I have 50 of them. I have no idea where they are. So I have like these bundles of pens that I keep in these little compartments by my desk, and sometimes the pens will be dead out of ink, but somehow I just didn't check that. I just kind of put it back. So a working pen is like a dime a dozen. You're just like, click, does this work? No. Click, does this work? No. Click, there it is. Okay, well, this is my special working pen. I need to remember this special working pen, but it's gonna go in the group with the rest of them, and then I have to tear my hair out trying to figure out which one is alive. Yeah. Find the living pen.
Find the living pet. What's the best piece of advice you followed?
Best piece of advice I followed. I mean, the cliched one of be yourself is
That's
is
okay. Cliche is
yeah,
fine.
it's pretty cliche, but I don't think people think about it as much as they should because there's so much pressure to follow certain stereotypes. There's pressure to kind of be like a product on a manufacturing belt and be what the people want you to be and everything. So, I mean, I write stories that I myself would like to read. So I think it's good advice to take that mindset with you because a lot of times you go to a bookstore, you have an idea of maybe a book you want to read and you can't find it. Well, writers, we write them ourselves. So I think that's kind of what happened with Fathoms. That's what inspired that one because there's a lot of mermaid stories out there and a lot of them are the same. From what I've found, a lot of them are the same. So I write the stories that I myself would like to read.
Right.
So
You got to do. I mean, it's I. You're every guest was almost universally is like, don't try and please others.
yeah,
Please you first. Write the thing that you want.
yeah. Another one someone told me or I picked up is, to pay attention to everyday dialogue. I try to have realistic dialogue in my books, and I do. The characters talk, they're not going to be formal. They're not going to be like, "Hello, how are you today?" They're going to be like, "Yo, what up?" Especially among friends. So like in a way, I tried to steer away from informal dialogue, but at the same time, informal dialogue is what's real. That's how
Right.
people talk. You talk to your sister on the phone, it's gonna be short, sweet sentences, to the point, one and done. That's how people are. And
Right.
when you're writing dialogue too, you got to remember people don't talk in complete sentences and everything like that. So it makes it more realistic.
Yeah. There's a lot of advice I give for people who are struggling with dialogue is like think about for like think of it as a spectrum of formality to informality of
Mhm.
like and you every single character is going to be somewhere on there. Certain people do talk more formally. They're kind of they have that weird like I speak in complete sense. You're like or maybe that like in your book there's military people or some sort of bureaucracy where people are going to show respect, show formality. And then other
Mhm.
times you're like, well, no, these people are best friends. They're
Mhm.
not gonna they're not gonna address anyone with a sir. They're gonna cut each other off
Mhm.
in dialogue and things like that. And you can and that's a lot of how you give people voices, different people character, give their voices character is like by playing with little tiny signs of formality of like, oh, this person uses all contractions. They never say cannot. They always say can't or won't. They won't say will not. And then some people will
Oh,
say like,
sure, and it's a
yeah,
reflection on, well, what their relationships are with one another too, because, like, even if someone is, authority, a member of authority, they're still gonna talk to their coworkers a different way than they're gonna talk to their friends, but at the same time, it's a reflection of their personality. You
yeah,
know, the teacher reprimanding the kids, "Hey, sit down, shut up, listen to me," type thing. So that's the only way you're gonna get a sense of what their personality is through
right.
their dialogue, depending on who they're talking to.
Yeah. And then I think that's a somewhat overwhelming thing to some people when they're starting out. But I feel like that's the truest. Like it's one of those big like here's a way to subtly imbue a character with a unique voice, especially when you have like your book has a pretty big cast, like a pretty big cast. So that's another way to differentiate
Hmm.
between characters. Another tool to differentiate characters.
Hmm.
Um, what is the hardest scene or character you've ever written, and what made it so difficult?
Well, I can't say because it's a spoiler.
Oh, okay. Is
No,
it
I would.
is
Yeah, it's okay.
it,
Yeah, I'll say that it's a spoiler, but like we're going back to making them realistic, and I'm thinking about this concept in a real life setting and how it would affect real life people and different types of people. Like how would this go for them, and what does this mean for other people? What does this mean for other demographics?
is it is from the Fathoms Below? Is that what we're
Yeah,
referring to? Okay,
yeah,
I think I I understand.
yeah. Yes,
I
of course. Like I think I handled it well, and I think that people in that demographic will appreciate it because I actually read an article about it, about something like that, and it's something that they like and they appreciate.
yeah. I mean it is it's a hard thing to I think you want to treat it with the right amount of respect. You want to treat it with the right amount of care, and it can be you don't want to diminish it. You don't want to be exploitative.
Well, right, and that goes back to the identity thing. Like, what does that mean for different people?
Yeah,
So it's gonna mean something to some people and something different to others, and I know that means something to them.
yeah,
So I have to put it in there. I
yeah.
think it's real, and I think people are gonna like that.
It's very good. Now everyone's like, "What are they talking about?" You got to read the book. That's what that's what I'm gonna say. Um, ooh, this is a good one for you.
Mhm.
How has your writing changed since you first started writing and since you first started publishing?
A lot. That's a stupid, vague answer, I know, but, like, I know what you're saying, and I know what I'm saying when I say a lot because, like, when you're playing around with different ideas and themes and, of course, different genres, you change up your voice a lot. So a lot of my books from the past are different than the ones now, and that depends on, of course, subject matter and characters. So I'll say some of my earlier ones, like the most different book that I've written is The Lamb Was Sure to Go. The Lamb Was Sure to Go and Mice are the most different in terms of like tone, because I think The Lamb Was Sure to Go is has a different tone. It's ominous, it's dark, but it also has rising tension. So I made my sentences shorter in that on purpose to make them seem jarring. But also, I have periods of escalated emotion with dialogue to show tension rising. So that's something I did specifically with that. But with writing moving forward with different themes that I'm playing with, I feel like I've just been playing with different tone and moods. It's like you want it to be mysterious, but at the same time, you want everybody to know what's going on. So it's like you're trying to conceal it enough. You're trying to show more rather than just blab everything out and say, "This is happening. This is what it is." It's like, sorry, you're gonna find out when the characters find out.
Is there I don't know, is there I wouldn't say a, a need for you to do that, but do you get I don't know with it and it comes back to, adding in different subgenre and genre into the
Mhm.
blend. Is it you're seeking a challenge, you're seeking where your curiosity is taking you, where you like this is the thing I want to write and I need it to be I want to write something a little more mystery, mysterious versus like, oh, driving tension and blood and guts or whatever it is.
Yeah, well, I think that comes with writing a series because if you're just writing a standalone novel, you have to wrap it up in one book. So you have to make sure it's set enough so that it could all be concluded at the end. So it's just one topic, one story, over and done. With the series, it's something that you get to stretch out a lot. Not too much so that you lose the interest of the reader, but enough so that like you said, you leave them on a cliffhanger and they wanna find out more, you know?
Continuing adventures.
exactly. So at the end of Fathoms Below, I want people to want to follow Dallas where she's going next. We all know where she's going next, but what's going to happen when she gets there? What's she going to find out? So I think that's been a challenge with me with my writing, with writing a series. I was able to take a step back and kind of stretch that out in my own terms and outline it out enough so that it all flows nice and smooth.
I was gonna. I didn't ask this in the first segment, but it's my show, so I'm gonna ask you now. Dallas and Albany. What is there a reason for a specific reason that they're the two sisters are named Dallas and Albany? The Albany, I guess, is 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 there other than I just thought it was neat that they're Dally and Ollie? Like, is
Yes,
that
that's
okay?
exactly it.
Okay, all right.
It's cheesy and stupid, and that's exactly the kind of names that sisters would have.
It's
It's
true.
exactly what like next generation parents love to be creative with names, so that means authors get to be creative with names. And I
Uh,
love the name. I love the name Dallas. And believe it or not, I got it from Beavis and Butthead Do America. I'm serious. Do you remember the Demi Moore's character?
I have. I'm going to be very, very honest with you, Jackie. I think I saw Do America one time, and that was
Oh,
like 25 years ago when it came out or
mhm.
whatever it was. So I
Yeah.
don't remember
Well,
anything.
it's so stupid, but it really holds true to the statement that you never know where you're gonna get character names from. So watch everything, read everything. No, but serious, her name was Dallas, and I'm like, that's a cool name, city. I
Yeah,
kind of put it in the back of my head. I'm like, I'm gonna use this someday.
right.
I don't know how or where or when, but I'm gonna use it. And lo and behold, she's a mermaid, and she has a sister named Albany, and they call each other Dally and Allie.
I do like Dally and Allie is really good. I do like
Yeah.
that quite a lot. Uh,
Well, it's their parents.
yeah,
Yeah.
I thought of from Fifth Element, Corbin Dallas. That's what my brain goes to. Um, another fave of mine that blend genre. Let's do one more question. What is a practice that helps keep your writing momentum going?
Process that keeps my writing momentum going.
A practice, something that helps keep
Practice.
you writing, keeps you going. Whenever to keep you from being stuck. I don't know. It could be anything. It could be like, oh, I write one word a day, or I always, routine, rhythm, whatever it may
Yeah,
be.
routine and rhythm. What I like to do is I like to focus on like chapters. Chapters or scenes at a time. So like if you have a specific scene in your head, it's like, well, let me get everything out here first and then pave way for what's going to happen next. Because a lot of times when writers get writer's block, it's because they don't know what's going to happen after. Obviously, we all get that way. But like if you focus on a scene, one scene at a time, it sometimes helps because it's like you're getting a small portion of it out of the way, and then later you can kind of go back and connect everything. And oftentimes we go back and we insert new scenes in between other ones, kind of like filler scenes, but sometimes those filler scenes are necessary, to show passage of time.
I mean, it's also like, well, I don't know. There's always times where I'm like, oh, what can happen here? And then you're like, wait a minute, I have something more interesting that happens in this moment that does advance character, that gives this, that does the thing I want it to, while not being just boring,
Hmm.
just passage of time. But like sometimes you just need like blank empty plaster, I guess is a good metaphor. You're like, just plaster it over for now. I'll come back and I'll paint it a funny color that makes it look
Yeah,
good.
yeah. It's like get the outline in first. I like to call it the skeleton.
All right. Do
Get
you
your whole
do
skeleton, and then
do you do that do you write in order from beginning to end?
I try to.
Okay.
I really do. I try to. Of course, the beginning, and then something's in the middle, and then maybe something's at the end. And then what I like to do is kind of go back and make sure I covered all of those key points that I really just wanted to get out first. And oftentimes I'll just write a scene and then browse through what I've written so far and see where it could be best placed. And oftentimes it's one of those like filler scenes, but sometimes it's like the casual, slower scenes that could still drive a story because things happen in people's downtime, not relevant to the main plot, but relevant to character development. That's also just as important.
Right. And it's like, I don't know, there's for every person who's like, well, this is boring. This just them eating cereal. I'm like, well, a lot of people that's their favorite thing. There's a lot of people I know who their favorite parts of stories are the ones where the characters are just eating cereal, having a discussion, or doing, they're when they're not on the main plot, whatever the main they want the tangent. And I'm like, that's not me usually. Most of the time I'm like, I want to know what's going on with this monster. But there's a lot of people who are like, I love that scene where they're just talking over their cereal. And I'm like,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
that's also relief for the characters and relief for the readers
right.
because it's like you want to see them stop. You want to see them relax at some point. Because you're rooting for them. You don't want
Right.
them to constantly be in action. You want them to see what they're like when they have a moment to, recharge the batteries, get back to neutral. You turn on your social media or read an email that's important. Read an email that's gonna, set another course of action is gonna happen, and the characters' reactions to those.
I mean,
Dallas's reactions to her emails
I was
that
going to
she gets.
say the example is a good example is the karaoke, where
Yes,
very important to the plot of the story. But at first it seems very innocuous. It's like, oh, they're just
Mhm.
gonna go have fun. But no, very serious things happen,
Yes, and you also get a glimpse into the character's past too, and how that's gonna shape the rest of the future and what else they're gonna do.
and tells you what kind of songs they would pick to sing at karaoke, which is a very important question that people must choose an answer to. And there's right answers and there's wrong answers.
Well, I hope Dallas picked right. I hope you sung along with her in your head.
It's not my. It wouldn't be my first choice, but it's not a bad choice. That's what I would say.
Okay.
There's a couple karaoke songs that people love. I'm looking at you, Neil Diamond. Uh, a Journey. Those the
Yeah.
people I don't want to hear. I would be happy if I don't. If there's this is I'm probably going to invite some angry people because I already said I don't like House of Leaves that much, and now I'm going to say I'm I don't never need to hear "Don't Stop Believing" again in my entire
Yeah.
life. I'm
Yeah,
good.
that's good.
I don't mind most Journey, but I don't need to hear "Don't Stop Believing" ever, ever again. I'm good. Thanks.
Same.
Yeah,
We're good.
I've heard it 150 times in my life. How many times do I? Okay, sorry, just complaining. Um, so Jackie, do you have a question for our next guest?
What is your main character's morning routine?
Ooh, that's a good question.
It's going to determine a lot. Like if they're morning people, or if they very sluggishly pull themselves out of bed, like me. Very slowly ease into their day. Check messages, make coffee, groan, dread the day.
Groan. I didn't know that was a part of the morning
It
routine.
is.
Groan.
Don't you
Okay.
wake up like that? Like,
No,
God.
I wake up seized by anxiety that forces me
Oh,
to move.
oh, great. See, there you go. Character trait.
I mean, it definitely ends up in some of my characters. It's naturally it's me, so I'm always there. That's a good question. I appreciate that. We can move on to our final segment. The final segment of the show. It is time for blood. Yeah, exactly. It's time for trouble, for a struggle,
Uh-oh.
for a hardship, be it nuts and bolts, a problem with something you're writing, or it could be business problems. It could be problems with social media, or ethos, or marketing. It could be any of those things. There's lots to choose from as authors. So, what's on top of mind? It could be something recent or something you've dealt with in the past.
Oh, you mean like what do you mean?
I
Like things that
mean,
hurt me?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what. Like, oh, I had a hard time with this thing, or this made me upset. And how do we deal with it?
How do we deal with it? I mean,
We don't have to.
algorithm.
You don't need to know an answer. We can just complain. We have done that in the past as well.
That's totally fine. I think algorithms can either be for you or against you. It's a thing. It's like you get the right one and you get enough feed, you get enough attention on your feed, or you pick the wrong one and you're not. But what's up with Instagram taking away our hashtags? What happened there? Can we talk about that? Because you used to be able to
I don't know.
spew out hashtags like no one's business. hashtag writers, hashtag books, hashtag, young adult fantasy,
Yeah.
YA fantasy, YA books, Barnes and Noble, Florida writers, Florida book. You could really narrow it down and
Right.
use up to like 20 or however many you could fit or however many you could basically make up on the spot. But now we're limited to 5. So now it's like we have to pick good ones. It's not just make hashtags, it's you gotta make good ones now and
I
be
don't
damned if you don't pick the right ones.
I I'm gonna be very honest. I don't think about it. I don't. I sometimes most of the time I don't put them when I am like being like very marketing driven and trying to launch a book or something. I'll use them, but I'm like I don't care. I don't know if it makes a difference. Maybe it does. I don't. I think when you're talking about algorithms, the problem is like it's so opaque. I don't
Mm,
know. I don't know why certain things get more traction. I don't know why certain like I had a video that had a lot more views than normal, and it was not a good video. I didn't spend any time on it. I recorded myself after a walk. I looked gross. Like I was like, but I was just like, I was just like, oh, I'll just say some nice like motivational things about, hey, people should go write your book, go do the thing, you can do it. And then like I looked awful. My hair was tied back. I had, I was sweaty. I hadn't shaved. Like but it got so much attention. And I'm like, why is this the one? Not the one that I spend like of something I've like, when I do multiple camera angle, like I'm like, oh, I edit something together and do captions and all the nice stuff. So I don't know. When you say hashtags, I don't know why I don't know why they do anything.
it just happened, you're writing up a post that you're really excited about. You're like, "Oh, I'm gonna tag this and 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 this," and then all of a sudden it's like, "You have reached your limit." And you're like, "Excuse me? What do you mean I have a limit? We write
Yep.
we write at dawn."
I
I
don't
mean,
see.
come
I'm
on.
not. The problem is I have no energy to. I like. I'll just. I don't know. I think the right attitude about it is like I'll just post. Do your best, and if it works, it's great. If it doesn't, try again because there's no rhyme or reason to it, and I don't know why certain posts. I mean, I guess if I pay them money, if I pay to boost a post, I know that
Mhm.
people will see it. But even
Right.
then, I've done that in the past, and it hasn't done anything.
I mean, I
So
feel like whenever I do a boosted post, I get a lot of, like, robotic accounts that'll
yeah,
just come out of nowhere, and
yeah,
I'll get, like, a ton of followers, and some of them are just robots, and then the next week they'll go away. So it's like your numbers go up, but how many of those numbers are legit? And you're like, "Oh,
yeah.
womp womp.
It's
You're not real?"
yeah. I mean, they did just wipe. Speaking of it, they just wiped a bunch of bot accounts of people's followers. A bunch of
Oh, that's good.
very famous people's followers, like the people have like millions. They dropped by like tens of thousands. Well, it's because they were bots. They weren't real people. Um, I don't know why they. I don't know why they took away so many hashtags. Maybe they think it looks worse, and they were just like, let's make people focus on specific things." But that
Yeah.
doesn't. I don't know. I don't know anything.
Yeah, people are just making up hashtags at that point, relevant only to them. I mean, you could sit there and you could make a post about writing or writing in general, make it very vague. You'd be like, hashtag this is why I woke up in the morning, or hashtag this is what happens when I don't have my coffee and I'm crabby, and make it like super long and detailed. Hashtag I can't write today, help me. Dumb stuff
I,
like that. It's
I
like it's
mean,
not a diary entry.
I don't know. I I think the algorithm is fickle,
Hmm.
and I don't. I know that it likes faces, um, and that's about it. We're out of time, Jackie.
Okay,
We're
that's
not.
fair.
We're not out of time, but we are. We're close to an hour, which means
Okay,
we should probably wrap
cool.
up. But before we go, I want to. It's the thing I've been doing lately. I want you to manifest something for your career. Speak something into existence that you want to happen in the near to intermediate future for your career, and it will happen. I promise. Do you, I would say the Fathoms Below launches into a successful series. That would be
I would
my
like to see that happen.
yeah. That would be my. I mean, I feel like you don't necessarily need manifestation to make that happen. I think you'll just make that happen because you're
Manifestation is always welcome.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I anything that helps, you know, I'll take it.
Mhm.
If it even a little bit of drop of something helps me sell a book, I'll take it 100% of the time. Where before we go, where should people follow you on the internet, and where should they buy the Fathoms Below and all your other books?
Well, my Instagram is at hashtag SO at sorry, not hashtag. I can't believe I said that. Well, on Instagram, my handle is at Sonnenbooks, so SONNEN, and then the word books. And they can also find me on Facebook, author Jackie Sonnenberg. And then, of course, my website, my name, JackieSonnenberg.com.
The Fathoms Below, where do you want them to buy at any particular place wherever books are sold?
Yeah, it's available online wherever books are sold, Amazon, Barnes& and Noble. You can actually look at the Crystal Lake website as well.
There you go. Jackie, thank you for being on the show.
Robbie, you're awesome. This is a lot of fun.